So my name is John Hilary. I'm the Executive Director of War on Want, which is a British campaigning organisation fighting against the free trade agreements like TISA, the Trade and Services Agreement, like TTIP, the Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership, and all of the other ones which threaten labour rights in particular, because our organisation comes from the labour movement. The latest news about TISA is that even though the negotiations have been going along slowly, they want to try and rush them through to a conclusion by the end of 2015. And that threatens a whole range of labour rights, it threatens our jobs, and it threatens our public services. On the jobs front, they have claimed for TISA that it will lead to the creation of more jobs. We know this is a lie. We know that in all of the free trade agreements that have existed in the past, the promise at the outset has been of more jobs, and the reality has been exactly the opposite. In terms of the labour rights, we need to be aware that there is a strong deregulation agenda at the heart of TISA. This is the new generation of trade deals which are being rolled out in order to prevent governments from introducing stronger trade union laws. We all know, for example, about the challenge to Egypt in an international investment court by Veolia because they tried to raise the minimum wage. Exactly these type of national, sovereign, democratic policies are at threat under TISA and all of the other agreements. And public services, we know, are also under threat. We've seen, for example, very recently the European Union's offer in TISA, which lays out the schedule of commitments that it's made for liberalisation. It says quite explicitly that education is in at all levels, health is in, water is in, sewerage is in, rail, postal services, financial services, they're all in except for audiovisual services. Then the European Union will say, but it's okay, there's an exemption for public services. We know that that's not true. We know that the exemption they're talking about, which is the GATS 1.3b exemption, is not applicable to public services in the modern era. So the quantity of jobs are under threat, the quality of jobs are under threat, public services are under threat, and that's why we say quite clearly no to TISA, no to these free trade agreements, rip them up, and if you want to start talking about public services, talk about protecting them from the commodification that comes through free trade agreements.